This is He Knows the Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping a foot on the what on the next. We keeping a foot on the what on the next. And like the Tibetan master that I am, I'm applying what? Unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts its pipes. Let's talk about this shit, man. Listen, y'all. He Knows the Sport keeps laughing because the boxing streets, they keep going back and forth, man. Like fucking cockroaches, man. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Yo no puedo caminar. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Yo no puedo caminar. Like fucking cockroaches, man. These motherfuckers are scattering all over the place. They don't know where they stand. This is what happens when you're dealing with people that talk too sideways out of their ass. Which one is it? Is it Errol the True Spence that's the problem, or is it Terence Crawford that's the problem? See, He Knows the Sport respects authentic and consistent Bud Man fans. Let me say it again. He Knows the Sport respects authentic and consistent Bud Man fans because you know where they stand. They're just like Terence Crawford. They're missing a few fucking screws. These Omaha Nebraskans, just like Terence Crawford, are Rudy Poo and Plum Plum brands, are classic Dalton troglodytes, are ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. But see, in its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth teller fashion, it's as simple as this. Errol the True Spence is the A-side equation. When Floyd Money Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya, he willingly accepted the 60-40. He willingly accepted the B-side equation because he understood what was coming on the back end. It's like Jay-Z said, I'm not looking at you dudes, I'm looking past you. Let me say it again. It's like Jay-Z said, I'm not looking at you dudes, I'm looking past you. He looked past the situation. He saw, all I gotta do is beat this motherfucker. Take his 40%. Take his gloves clause, because Oscar De La Hoya wanted the heavier gloves because he felt that was going to suffocate Floyd's ability and power to snap at his ass. Floyd still beat the shit out of his ass. But what happened? Floyd accepted the terms because Floyd understood that you must first serve in order for you to become a master. See, this is the problem with so-called true alpha extraordinaires governed by true alpha economics, or so-called true alphas. The problem that a lot of people don't understand is alphas have to also serve. They're not just always leading. This is what leadership is at its highest level. Jesus Christ said it, the greatest amongst you guys is the one who serves. So if you sit here and say that you don't bow to no man, you're going against the fucking Bible. Because in the Bible, all of the whole understanding of being the greatest is to be the least. This is why Jesus said, verily, verily, I say unto you, the greatest among you is those that are the least. Do you even understand what that means? That means it's the one who is the most meek, the one who is the most humble, and the one who is most willing to serve. Leaders are supposed to serve. And when you're in a lower level or in a lesser level, you have to serve the person that's a higher level than you, man. This is biblical. So when you don't do this, you go against the man above and you get punished for that. See, and this is the problem, especially this plagues us in the black community. Everybody always think that they're on equal footing. No, it's like Meek Mill said, there's levels to this shit. There's years. When somebody's on a higher footing than you, you have to serve that person that's on a higher footing than you, man. And then when you get to the position where you're on an equal footing with them or you're higher with them, then they can serve you. That's how it works at its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat true teller fashion. When you guys go to your 9-to-5 jobs, are you sitting here saying, I don't bow to no fucking man when you're collecting your paychecks, you Rudy Poo and Plum Plum brains? When you're collecting your paychecks, your classic Dalton, you troglodytes? When you're collecting your paychecks, you ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric? You don't do that. You fucking serve. So why do you serve when it comes to your paycheck, but you can't serve when it comes to everything else? That's a contradiction. That's being a hypocrite. And that makes you no different than a fucking Pharisee. Let me say it again. That is contradiction. It's being a hypocrite, and it makes you no different than a fucking Pharisees. This is why Jesus used to say, verily, verily, I say unto you, these Pharisees are woe unto thee hypocrites. They are ravening wolves, i.e., thinking that they're giving you the similitude of something that looks like it represents what I'm about. But they are really in sheep's clothing, meaning they're masquerading, intermingling. But the ravening wolves part is what they are. They're really filled with dead men's bones, man. This is biblical. This is scriptural. So when you don't follow somebody who's in a higher level than you, then you're going against the man above. Because that's what it's all about, serving. This plagues the black community more than anybody else. Now, I said all of that to correlate it not only in the YouTube world when people do collaborations, because people don't know how to be on, understand that, know your role, know your place, operate in that motherfucker. It's okay to be in the serving role when someone's higher than you. Then when you build your shit up and you get on an equal footing or higher than them, then they can serve you. That's the way the shit rolls. But as long as you're under the person, you're supposed to serve the person. When I go to somebody's channel, for instance, when I've gone to IBFP's channel, I respected him. I'm not sitting here doing bootleg fucking lives. I'm not sitting here doing all this shit because, you know, the guy's on a higher plane than I am. So I have to serve. See, people don't understand this shit. I understand this shit at the highest levels. And when I did it, if people paid attention to the example, they would have had something that they could follow behind. I didn't bootleg no fucking live. And I didn't sit there and say, oh, well, you know, I'm a man. No one bows down to me either. So I'm going to just do whatever. I followed and I unctioned up under the fact that this was the bigger channel. So I got to respect and abide by the rules. This is the problem. And this plagues the black community more than anybody else. Why am I saying all of this? This sticks and it's contextual with Spence versus Crawford. Aren't they two black folks? Spence obviously gets the servitude route because he did this against Kell Brook. He willingly took the B side, man. If you remember the billing, if you guys want to know anything about boxing placement where the names are at, the name that's ahead is usually the A side. In the Kell Brook versus Errol Spence, it was Brook Spence, not Spence Brook. But Spence took whatever conditions that was thrown his way because he understood, I'm not looking at the short game here, I'm looking at the long game. I beat this motherfucker, I become the A-side equation. Just like when Floyd did it with Oscar De La Hoya. What is the problem with Terence Crawford? See, these are the questions that you as fight fans need to start asking yourselves. Terence Crawford has two fundamental issues. The first fucking fundamental issue that Terence Crawford has is Terence Crawford doesn't understand that he's the fucking B-side, man. Terence Crawford doesn't understand that he has to take the lesser route. Terence Crawford doesn't understand that he has to serve. And in doing that, if he's able to do an unprecedented feat of beating Errol the True Spence, then he can fucking lead. But we know that's not going to happen because Errol the True Spence is going to park, punish, and stop his ass. He's going to bulldoze and steamroll his fucking ass or his rabbit ass. But in this most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-telling fashion, it's as simple as this, man. When we look at the delineation, the distinction, the gulf, and the separation between pay-per-view numbers, and we look at the heavyweight lifting that Errol the True Spence did, and the lack thereof of heavyweight lifting that Terence Crawford did, it's a foregone conclusion that Terence Crawford must bend the proverbial fucking knee. How come every other race gets this? White people get this shit. Maybe that's why they fucking run the world. And then you got Hispanic people that get this shit. Do you not realize they have usurped us not only in number, but they've usurped us in position? Because they get that when someone is in a higher plane than them, they got to serve up under them until they get to the levels that they need to get to. Every other fucking race gets it but us. Because we're always on some conquer and divide shit. Terence Crawford suffers from the same fate. He doesn't realize that in order for him to blow up Shoei and graduate, he has to fight Errol the True Spence and accept his B-side position. And then if you win, now you A-side all the way through and through, line upon line and precept upon precept. This is what it is at its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-telling fashion. But it seems that Hino's Sport has to drop the Hino's Sport cojones and be the only motherfucker on YouTube to give you the cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-telling fashion. That's all I know. Absolution and resolution. I don't understand fin straddleization, and I don't understand talking two sideways out of your ass. It's not the motherfucker I am, and I'm not built that way. And if I ever am built that way, someone needs to go ahead and just basically deal with me, beat my ass up or something, and beat me up straight. Because this is all I know, man. Absolution and resolution. So what are we talking about here, man? This is apples to oranges. Errol the True Spence is the lion's shareholder. He's the heavyweight lifter. And he is the rock star. So he deserves the rock star share. And if he doesn't get this fight is not going to fucking happen. And it's not Errol the True Spence's fault. It's Terence Crawford's fault. Just like plaguing ass black people's fault who don't get the message that you must first serve in order for you to lead. There's leadership in servitude, man. Do I have to preach and teach this thing all the way through and through? This is why people are having their channels suspended every second, because they don't learn from motherfuckers that's been doing it longer than them that can teach them some shit. And then when motherfuckers got good shit going, they want to get it behind their head. Oh, you're just like he knows. And let that shit get to their head. I don't bow to no man. Oh, I'm a true alpha. I don't worship no man. That makes you sound like a fucking pure beta. The fact that you have to say this to people, it don't make you sound like an alpha. Because an alpha knows when to serve, but they also know when to fucking lead. This is the issue with Terence Crawford. He doesn't know when to fucking serve so that he can therefore and thereby lead. Remember, leadership requires servitude first. And you gotta serve continually. There's always gonna be a motherfucker over you. This is why I laugh when motherfuckers got YouTube channels and think they can just say whatever the fuck they want to say. YouTube is your boss. Google. They can tell, if they don't like what you say, per the community guidelines, they can eliminate your rabbit ass. This is what people don't understand. There's always somebody over you. So there's no such thing as you're the creme de la creme, you're the top of the top. You just got to know what level you're at on the fucking pecking order. Because in life, there's hierarchy everywhere. So in this instance, when we contextualize it to Spence versus Crawford, Errol the True Spence is just on a higher level from a hierarchical standpoint than Terence Crawford. So Terence Crawford needs to toe the fucking line, bend the proverbial fucking knee, kiss the ring while he's at it, and accept the B-side. And if he doesn't, Spence versus Crawford is not gonna fucking happen. That's the cold-hearted, that's the unadulterated, and that's the cutthroat true television. I keep the foot on the X. In this instance, Errol the True Spence A-side will always keep the lion's foot or the tiger's foot or the megalodon shark's foot on the chihuahua barking behind the damn fence giraffe's fucking neck. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.